This is Lisa. Hello.
I'm Cryss.
And this is a Knit Cheap Knit and Crochet podcast, number 32.
So you say. She could tell me any number. You tell me it's like pi to the 8th, and I'm like, okay, I have no idea how many of these we've done.
32.
Okay. That seems like a lot.
It is. I like it. I'm pretty happy about that. So, what do you want to talk about?
I got nothing. I'm having like an allergy episode. I'm having such a down day today. Y'all don't know. I'm just like, who am I? Where am I?
Allergy sufferers, you guys know how it is. I did want to respond to a comment. I just found out from Crystal what shawl she was wearing last week. It was a shawl for Rachel, and it's in Ravelry. Yeah. I'll put a link to it in the description bar.
I like that pattern. I like that yarn too. They went out of business though.
Was that all Lorna's Laces yarn? But did you use 2 colors or 3?
It's 3.
All right, because you'll see the picture, at least the cover picture of it. It was all done in 1, but I really like the way you did.
Because originally the pattern was done in an ombre yarn, so it was multicolors, and that's where I got the idea. But I had these 3 yarns that all had like varying degrees of purple in them, and were yarns on the top of her bag, and I just kept like. So we bought some stuff from the store, but I got those for me.
Yeah.
I made this shawl that I love.
And you actually wear that one all the time.
I do.
Any chance you get, you wear that shawl.
I love it. It's wonderful. I have quite the purple wardrobe now because I didn't, even though it's my favorite color, I typically don't buy purple clothes. But I buy a lot of purple yarn and I've been using it. So now I have like quite a few purple pieces.
I think it's hard if you really have a strong affinity for a color because with fashion, colors cycle in and out of popularity. And there are times where you simply cannot find things in the color you really love. You know, I remember one year brown was the it color. And all I wanted out of life was a pair of navy blue slacks. And I couldn't find any. But when you're making yourself, you just have more options of every kind.
So when I buy yarn, I don't buy yarn the way I buy clothes. So I will get some old wild, right behind colors in yarn. And then I get it home and I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
I actually had to break myself out of buying novelty yarn because...
Oh, don't even talk to me about novelty yarn. I had some old furry stuff that I was like, what?
They catch my eye. If there's something hanging off the yarn, something embedded in the yarn, things, winking and blinking, that's the yarn my eye will be drawn to. But ask me if I ever make anything out of it.
But now,
I hardly do.
I've gotten hip to just using multiple yarns to make one garment. You would think you wouldn't have to figure that out, but I did. So I'll use one skein of like that bright, crazy color, and then I'll bring it on back with some other yarn. And now I'm using like all those wild color yarns that I bought, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
You gotta figure out a way to, because sometimes you buy yarn and then later you like, I bought that because why?
What was I thinking again?
And you gotta think your way out of it. And that's what I've been able to do.
And I like the way that you've been using particularly your hand-dyed skeins as like a guest star in your pieces so that you can show them off in some prominent space on the garment.
When you see the yarn, right? And you tell yourself, don't buy the yarn because you ain't got no money. Somehow buying one skein becomes a compromise. Now you ain't have money for the one skein either. But you still went ahead and bought it because you knew that yarn was going to haunt you behind.
Yes.
So you buy one skein and then it's like, and now what? So I've been figuring out ways to combine my yarn.
That's the thing though. That's what I admire. You've been coming up with the and now what? And it's been looking good, I gotta say.
Lisa has a list.
I do.
We work completely differently, child.
Yes.
So she has a list and she tries to be all orderly. Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, she always wants to have like a meeting before we film.
I try.
So we can figure out what we're going to talk about. I'm like, oh, girl, wing it.
But it's like pulling teeth. Now, that's like the opposite way that we do most other things. She's usually one like, we're going to need to do this, and that. So yes, you'll see me looking down periodically because, as I was saying to Crystal just before we started filming, my brain is kind of a magpie, and I'm easily distracted, and I'll get a different idea, and that means I could put down something over here, and I literally don't see that thing anymore because now my brain is over there. Crystal likes to call it squirrel,
because sometimes she actually goes, and it's wild.
Anyway, moving along.
It's a very interesting experience filming this podcast together, let me tell you.
Believe me, it is.
Which is why when we start filming, we both usually look like...
Yes, that's kind of where we start. I found a free pattern this week that I'm going to use in the fall.
That's what you think now.
It's not preying on my mind.
Okay.
You know what it is, though? I made a sketch.
What is it, Lisa?
You go your way and I'll go mine. You see, what happened was this. About 4 months ago, maybe 5 now, I saw these gorgeous, airy, light shawls, right? And I was like, oh, that's so cool. But then I got the idea, well, you don't need to buy that. You can make one of those. They were big shawls, but they were weightless. And I was like, you have all that mohair. So I was I'm going to make one.
Talking about mohair shawls.
I'm going to make one out of mohair. So I have been quietly looking for, because I didn't want to just do, now I could do something that will look lacy if I do mohair on a big needle. So it will be airy and it will have holes, but that would be so boring to knit. So I have been on a quiet hunt for a stitch pattern to incorporate into the mohair on big needles. And as luck will have it, have you guys explored knitting Twitter much? Usually it's messy, but there are patterns on there too. So this came up on knitting Twitter this week. What's it called? It's called Waving Goodbye. And it's from a woman named Wendy Conyers. I may not have her last name right. I'll put all the correct information.
That looks like Wendy Wonders.
Yeah, that's what she calls her business.
Okay.
Wendy's Wonders. But her last name starts with a C. But I love this piece. I love this lace. And it's a free pattern. And now my only decision is, am I going to make it all in one color or am I going to go multicolored? But I love it. It's done in fingering weight yarn, but the way she structured the pattern, you could pretty much do it in any yarn. And she gives you a formula to rejigger the repeats if you want to change the dimensions of it. And I thought it was wonderful. So now I'll have something that is lacy and open like I wanted. It's going to be completely weightless because I'm going to do it in mohair on something big like a US 9 needle. And it's going to be glorious. And it's going to match the vision I have. Matter of fact, it's so funny because I made notes about the dimensions I wanted it to have and everything like months ago. And I finally found a stitch pattern that kind of matched what I saw in my mind. So do check it out. I will include a link in the description bar to the Waving Goodbye pattern because I think it'd be fun. It would be a nice pattern for pretty much any yarn. And the way she's done the pattern, you can pretty much do it in any yarn. What else you got, Pookie?
I'm still working on the same things. I work monogamously. I have one crochet project going at any given time, one sewing project going at any given time. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on my wool walk tee, and I finished the front. I don't want to show it yet.
Okay.
I don't want to show it till it's finished.
All right. Not a
But I did
problem.
end up going back to the idea of intarsia. I really just rushed. I should have just taken more time coming up with a design. And I also I'm working on smoothing out my decreases when I do my underarms and my neckline. And I think I did a better job with this than I usually do. But we will see. But yeah, I'm happy with how it's going, and I'm looking forward to wearing it. I'm in a better place with my wool walk tee.
Good. You can follow Crystal's progress with her wool walk tee on her blog. She just wrote a blog post about it. That the picture that you included with that post was
I forgot about
devastating.
That. What post is she talking about? Oh, yeah, because I reduced my thing to Rebels.
She sure did.
I went back to string.
So it was a picture of the puddles of string, and
although I have been
appreciate
I
you.
have balled up my yarn now, so I'm doing like little balls now with what I ripped out, and I like these. I think I like these better than what I get from the winder, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I love that winder. Let me tell you. We done fought over the winder because we brought it home during the pandemic, and I didn't want it to go back to
I know, she didn't want to take it back to the store. I was like, it's got to go back.
You can't have it.
She was in mourning for a couple of days after I took it back.
I was. But, I've never been one for winding my own yarn. I'm like, why do a thing that there's a perfectly good tool for? But, and these are not center pull. And I usually don't like to work with anything that's not center pull. But I wind a really tight ball.
Yeah.
Which is why I have never been able to wind my own center pull balls because it's always so tight that I can't pull the string out the middle. But working from the outside of these has just not been an issue at all because it stays so tight. It doesn't unravel too much. And I'm able to get them pretty darn round, which I'm very happy about. And now I'm thinking, do I want to do this with all my yarn before I work with it? It seems like a lot. It seems like if I'm going to make a whole sweater, because this is just little fractions of each ball of yarn, to do a whole 400 yards or whatever.
That'd take a minute.
Seems like it would be a lot, but I like them. They're nice and firm and taut, and the cakes that I get from the winder, sometimes I just had one that collapsed completely and it made a mess in my yarn.
You might want to try the Nostopina.
Nope.
That's what she always says. It's going to make a great ball that you can pull from either the inside or the outside, and it's going to stay firm until the bitter end.
No.
She's anti-Nostopina.
But now, okay. First of all, she thought we could use that for a store, to run a business, to wind people's yarn after they purchased it.
I did not realize.
And no.
I had been winding my balls on it for years. And
it's very slow when you have customers waiting. That is not the way to go. So she had to learn that from bitter experience.
I did.
And then we finally bought the Swift and the winder that we have now. So for personal use, yes, it's fine to wind your own balls, but you can't run a business with a stick.
She's so anti-stick.
But I never looked at any other option but using the winder and the Swift. And now at least I feel like I have an option if I'm on the fly, if I'm not at home or something, I can do this. But my head has been turned, y'all. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I think your balls also came out tighter because you're winding cotton.
No, I wind a tight ball.
Jesus, really? You get your balls out tight with wool too?
I wind a tight ball.
Jinkies, Batman. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I reduced my thing to rubble. I do that all the time, and it freaks Lisa out.
It does.
She don't like to rip out, so if she makes a mistake, she'll just rock with it and do a workaround or whatever.
You know what?
I rip out.
Her early option is rip out, and it's my last resort. So I often have to rip out more because I don't rip out when I should. But I do admit seeing the puddle of yarn. They don't even wind up as they rip. They just rip it and they have a puddle of yarn. And for me, the puddle of yarn is just nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking.
You know, but see, I also am one of those weirdos. I like to detangle yarn.
Yeah, I don't like detangle yarn.
It is one of the most I've never been into meditation. I've never been able to like calm myself down enough to meditate. Untangling yarn is the only time I can get myself into that state where I think you're supposed to be when you're meditating. It's just like, you know, as long as you have two ends, you know you can untangle this yarn. It's like a puzzle that you know has a solution, and so it's just a matter of getting there. So yeah, I will have the puddle because I know if I need to, I can detangle that puddle.
I wind as I go.
We're very different.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because I need to wind as I go. I'm like, no.
I realize I had traumatized you with my picture.
Oh, girl. I hate when mom does it too. I'm like, oh. Speaking of mom, she picked up a new book and I like it. So I'm going to share it with you guys. This is Colorful Crochet Knitwear. And she's actually she's already thinking about her Christmas sweater.
Yeah,
I accepted that, by the way.
I'm not there yet. I accepted you, so I am the inceptress.
Yeah, you accepted me, but I accepted her. So that's one apiece.
I am Inceptor Prime.
That is one apiece, my dear. But I love the designs in this book. And if you want to try out different styles of crochet color work, this is a whole course on several different kinds of crochet color work with fun, modern designs. So this is Colorful Crochet Knitwear, and who wrote it? Sandra Gutierrez.
She's Nomad Stitches most places online.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Check out Nomad Stitches' book. It's kind of the bomb. But super, super cute stuff. So on my project update, right now I'm only working on my Zara tee. But I'm thinking about ways that I can divide up my knitting time so that I can get a little bit of work done on other projects too. But
Plural? How many projects have you been working on?
I don't want to talk about it.
Wait a minute. All I knew about was the socks. What else is there? What you had in?
Nothing. Anyway, so let me tell you where I'm at with my Zara cardigan.
Because you've been making so much progress on the cardigan.
Yeah, I'm going to keep making progress on the cardigan. Like, for real. I'm playing a little game with myself. I'm trying to I know exactly how many inches I need to get to for the front. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to make progress towards that every day.
Okay.
And yesterday, when we took that car trip, I got a little bit more because I had done 2 inches in the morning. And
let me tell you about Miss Daisy over here. Okay. Because you have to understand she doesn't drive. Like we're from New York. Driving is optional there. So she never learned how to drive. So she is always the passenger in the car. Mm-hmm. And the backseat is just her office/lounge. So she knits, she reads, she watches stuff on her phone. She's on social media. Like she might as well put up a little curtain, like do not disturb, because she's chilling back there.
Hardly.
So she gets a lot of knitting done in the car. I, however, in the driver's seat, do not get to do a single stitch. That's all.
Moving along. So then I got some extra knitting done on the top that day. But I have I finished the entire back. I've come over the front. And now I'm working on both fronts simultaneously. So there was a little issue. And I'm not sure if it was me or the pattern. Because as far as I could tell, I followed the directions exactly. And so basically, when you finish with the back, right, you create a little division in the middle of the back, and that sets up, front 1 and front 2. And it said when I finished the last row of the back, I was supposed to finish on the wrong side, which I did. But when they were telling me basically how to set up the 2 fronts so I would make those the front bands as I went along on the that go down the middle of the shirt, the line where that happened was backwards to the way I was working. So if I had knit it as written, I would have made the center band on the outside of one. And I can't figure out, the only thing I can imagine is that
on
line.
The outside only of one side though?
Yeah, well, because of the way because I did the dividing in the middle of the row. So I came across, did the little band section on this side. So that left, and I did the little division. And then that left me on this side where.
So you were still working in the same direction. You were coming back this way to do the other side.
I wasn't though.
Yeah.
Because they put that in the middle there. They put that instruction to set up the band. I think they should have waited until I got to the next line.
So were you supposed to do, maybe on the other side, you're supposed to start with the band and then do the regular? Right.
But it came at the end of the line.
Oh.
So I think somebody just made a little mistake because it should have either been at the beginning of the middle of that line or on the next row.
Yeah, they did it on the next row though. You'd have been a little bit of an offset.
But I don't know if
that would drive me nuts.
It wouldn't have been visible though because it actually sits back here.
Yeah, but I would know.
Yeah, that wouldn't trouble me in the least. I would never see it.
I would know.
Okay. So I was like, a matter of fact, when I ran into that spot, I was really tired. I think I told you guys, I was really tired. It was late. I was like, you know what? I think it's me. It's late. I should have stopped knitting about an hour ago. So I put it down till the next morning. And sure enough, it was still wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, the shoemaker's elf supposed to fix it overnight?
No, but I thought that, like I said, I was like, maybe you're just tired. Because, sometimes when you're a little tuckered out, you do things when you're knitting that you wouldn't ordinarily do. So I was just like, okay, let me look at this. And I think that's what I'm trying to share here. Sometimes you need to look at your knitting or your crochet and go, what's supposed to be happening here? Set aside the pattern for a second. And when I looked at it, I was like, what's supposed to be happening here? I'm supposed to be making that little band. I looked at the picture. I looked at the work in front of me. And I'm like, this band needs, this shirt's going to look crazy if I do one band down the center here and have one band.
It's a look.
It's a look.
It's bold.
But it's not the look I want.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice, but it's not the choice I wanted. So that's something you can do. If something's really like puzzling you the way it's written, really take a look at the work and ask yourself, what is supposed to be happening here? And then make that happen, because that's what I ended up doing. And it's been fine ever since. And I see the little bands developing as I go down. So as of yesterday, I think I was at something like 9 inches out of the 20.5 inches I need to go. But once I hit the 20.5 inches, I am going to have to pick up the sides and do the edgings on the side. And I think I'm going to do some sort of edging on the bottom because it's going to roll and I don't like that. So if I was thinking, I would have started with a little garter stitch band on the bottom. But I assumed I was going to be picking up that bottom edge, but I'm not. So I'm going to have to do something because I don't like it when it rolls. But that's where I'm at with my Zana cardigan. And I've done a couple of sketches for how I'd like to wear it. I haven't colored them in yet. It's just my preliminary sketches. What? So here's number 1. I would wear it with shorts over like a, what do you call those? A camisole. And I could also throw it over dresses. But I'll be working out my sketch. What is so funny?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's just like, it's so cute. It's like a cute sketch.
That's what I'm up to.
It's cute.
So I'll be doing my whole reveal of everything on the Summer Yarny YouTube Hop, which is June 21st. That's when the color sketches will be available. I'll probably be wearing the doggone thing. It'll be really, really fun. Hashtag Summer Yarny YouTube Hop. We're taking part in it. I'm so excited. And see, that's one of my squirrels. That's one of my squirrels right there. But I'm going to provide a link to the Crafty Nomad because she did a teaser video for the Summer Yarny YouTube Hop because it's going to be our first time participating. So, yay! Shall I show them your shorts?
If you insist.
Absolutely.
Those were the demon shorts.
They're not demons.
They had all kinds of problems, but I like that fabric. And now I have shorts. There's some issues though. It's okay. I really, I'm just trying to think of these early projects. It's just like, gaining experience points.
Yeah.
Trying to think of it that way.
Oh.
It's a lot of time to put into something that doesn't like come out, the way you were hoping. But
so when you're wearing them, what's still going awry?
So the waistband, I stitched the elastic in. I was supposed to use a stitch that had more elasticity, and I didn't. So the elastic doesn't stretch like it should. So it's a little taut coming over the hips. But I do get them over my hips, but every time it's always like, ooh, can I? Oh, yeah. This is a garment that's like, plan to stay at this weight. Because if I gain a pound, I won't be able to pull them up anymore.
Oh, wow.
It was just because I used the wrong stitch for the. I literally missed the line in the instructions that said, use your favorite stretchy stitch.
Oh, so it just holds it in place. Oh, wow.
So, because elastic has a thing that it does. It stretches unless you arrest that stretching, which I have effectively done.
I do like the way you combine this top with these pants, though. That's kind of cool. I love how it's like a reverse with the colors.
Because I the fabric just caught my eye. I didn't think about what I was going to wear it with until I was almost done. But I was like, oh, wait, I think I have a thing.
But you see how that color combination was already in your closet? Your eye is tuned for it.
So I need to make another thrift store run. I'm trying to like hold myself back. But girl, I'm ready to be off of the races.
So are you thinking about going any place in particular or
no, probably same store, just go and get all the things because I still haven't been through the whole store yet.
I know.
It's so big.
Yeah.
And I have not.
It does seem big for a thrift store, doesn't it?
It's huge.
Now, do you want to go to the one on the shore that we passed?
I don't remember which one.
I think it was in the same town where
but I don't, for this purpose, I'm not really shopping at the boutique thrift stores just because they want more money. Although this thrift store, let me tell you, it wasn't as cheap as I thought it would be. You have to really use some discernment because they will charge you whatever they think they can get.
But you know what, though? For what you got, you still saved a ton of money because we were at Joann's and the fabric prices there are nutso. I'm
not even thinking about Joann because they want so much money for these fabrics. What was that one with the flowers?
The Lloyds of London. The Liberty London, sorry.
I was like, it's like $35 a yard.
Yeah.
And they all kind of look the same. They're all flower.
You know what? Prints. When they're all together like that, I think they do better if they spread them out a little.
They were variations on the theme, but only slight variations.
Yeah. They did kind of run
And it's
together.
like $35 a yard. I'm like, what precious bridal garment am I making out of $35 a yard fabric? Because especially at my skill level. That's the thing. Like, I've been able to like manage my stress over, all the mistakes that I make when I'm sewing because I'm not cutting very valuable fabric. Don't let me buy something from Mood. I don't think I'd be able to cut into it.
Oh no! Oh, you could.
I would just frame it and hang it on the wall.
You definitely make a muslin for that one.
But yeah, I'm happy with using my thrifted garments for sewing, especially as a beginner because I've been making a mess. Now it does cut down your margin for error though because you have less fabric.
Yeah.
So you do have to be a little bit more careful in that regard. But I don't mind that just because let's say, I cut badly and I can't make that garment out of that thing anymore. If I only spent $5 or $6,
it's like, oh well. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a student. I am a student sewer and I am perfectly comfortable with making mistakes as long as they don't cost too much money. That's really where I am on the subject.
Yeah, but you know what? Getting to the place where you just acknowledge, there's going to be mistakes. That's a great place to be. It frees you up. It's not so, everything's not so critical, because, there's going to be some errors. It's going to happen.
And the thing is, when my things come out wonky, I still wear them. I wore a lot of wonky crochet. Right now, I'm wearing a lot of wonky sewing. Okay. I say that my goal is to reduce my wonk coefficient.
Yes.
So it's just to make things less and less wonky over time. And as long as that happens, I'm happy.
You're sitting next to the queen of the ugly hat. So. There you go.
So that's how sewing's going.
Make a wish. Now I saw you were using your figure.
Yeah,
how do you like
it? The bottom line is I'll be able to use the dress form for some things and not other things.
How come?
Because when I, expanded the dress form so that it matched my bust measurement, the problem was that what you were expanding is basically like the width of the back and this depth here under the arms, not the cup. So for instance, the bra top that I'm making, I tried to fit it on the dress form. When I tried it on me, the bra top fits, but it actually didn't fit the dress form because the band was too short, even though the cups weren't filled on the top.
Oh, you know how you have to do that? You have to pad your dress form to match you.
Yeah, no one told me that.
You set it to your back measurement, and then you add padding. Mom used to do it with shoulder pads to create.
I haven't seen a shoulder pad in like 15 years.
Next time we're at the thrift store, get some couple of things with shoulder pads and rip them out of there.
So I realized that, for that particular top, that wasn't going to work. So unless I do that padding business, no one mentions these things. This is a thing that I just stumbled across and stubbed my toe on.
I just thought to ask because I remember seeing your top upstairs in the workroom on the mannequin. I was like, oh, she's using her dress form.
She's trying to use her dress form.
But yeah, you pad your dress form rather than expand it for all the dimensions.
I was like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I can't use the dress form for this particular top unless I fill her out a bit.
And I'll look around. I don't know if we have any. We might have some like flat padding that you can just.
I'm surprised that's not taken into account when dress forms are made and they make some sort of expanding booby situation.
The less expensive ones, that's why they're less expensive because they don't expand in all dimensions. If you were really going to spend a lot of money on a dress form, you could have custom dress forms made, and there are patterns for making your own dress form. That's more like you. Yes.
You see me doing that. To make the dress form so that I can make the muslin. To fit the
It
muslin
sounds a
on the
little
dress
like
form.
pre-crafting.
So that's like a pre-crafting to the second degree.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about?
It sounds a little like pre-crafting, yes.
No one will be making a dress form.
It's like there are patterns to make your own tailor's hams and all of that.
You know what? I saw a thumbnail on YouTube where someone was making them hams, and I just didn't even watch the video.
It's for pressing things properly.
I understand.
It's like people think you're supposed to have that hard crease down your pants. All the round parts of your garment are supposed to be pressed in the round, and that's what those hams are for.
I understand. I'm just saying you will never.
Okay, I want you guys to mark the date where she says that.
I will buy some. No, I'm not making. No. There's some things that just fall into categories of things you make and things you don't make.
Like, I'm not going to make that.
That's just how that goes. Guess which categories dress forms and hams are in?
I don't know, Crystal. Which one? So, are you ready to cut your bra top yet?
Yes, I am. Because I made a muslin. I'm still a little bitter about that, just because I don't want to make everything twice. But for this, just because I had so much trouble deciding what size to make.
Yeah.
I did end up making a muslin, and the size I cut out thankfully fits. So I'm ready to cut it out of I'm going to try to make this out of a denim skirt, and I've never sewn denim before, and I'm a little bit worried about the thickness. But as with most things, we're just going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
absolutely. I see you ripped out. Are you going to take the pockets off of that and everything?
I don't think I'm going to have. So here was the situation. There's always a situation, because the course of sewing there did one smooth. The skirt, the front panels of the skirt have this distressing on them that I absolutely adore. And I want this distressing on the bra top. And I just pulling the skirt apart is how I learned, like, there's a whole panel back here that they use to stabilize all that distressing. So it's all, each distressed area is completely stitched over. And then if you look on the front and you pull it apart, might be one down here. Yeah. If you pull it apart, there's denim back there. You can't really see it, but there's a whole nother panel of denim back here. So these ripped parts, they're never going to come out. They are stitched down, and then they have a backing behind them. And I was like, oh, is that what you have to do? I just learned something. Because for something that is this ripped up, it's very stable. It's been in the thrift store, so who knows how long it's been kicking around. But none of this has expanded because they've really taken care of that. So I don't know what brand this was, but this is a really well-made skirt.
I know, right?
Avenue Jeans, never heard of them. But I want the distressing to be on my bra top. So I need to cut the bra top out of the front panels of the skirt because the back panels don't have any of that distressing. However, my back panels are wider than the front panels. And I could try, when I just place the pattern piece over it, you can get the bra top cut out of this very easily. The front panels, not so much. So I took it apart so that I could take advantage of the seam allowance. And with the seam allowance, I had just enough room to cut out the two front pieces of the bra top. Just enough room. It's pretty much the exact width. So that is why I did have to take the skirt apart, because that's always optional. If you can lay it out without ripping the whole thing out, I will do that. But so yeah, I'm ready to cut, but I have to plan around. See, if you can see all that stitching, that's just holding those distressed areas in place so they don't fray at all. And I don't want to, I have to figure out how to cut it so that this keeps it stable.
Yeah.
So that when I use it for the bra top, it still won't do that extra fraying. And I have no idea how to do that. I might just have to cut it out and stitch it again. Because cutting things out from existing garments is not the easiest way to do things.
No.
On the one hand, I feel like maybe I'm learning more doing it the hard way. That's what I'm trying to tell myself to console myself, because I really do feel like I'm doing it the hard way. But I can't think of another option that saves me as much money. Like my mom just had a dress that she was going to throw out, and I was like, I'll just take that. Give me that. So now I have this really cute green plaid fabric. I don't know what to make out of it, but
you know what? I mean to tell you, I have something that you might like.
Okay.
It's made of wool.
I will take it. Lisa saw this wool sweater at the thrift store, and she got so excited. She's like, "That's 100% wool. You should buy this."
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, and then this is going to be kind of like a steeking kind of situation that I'm terrified of. I don't like to watch other people steek online. That's how bad it is. My steek phobia. But she was just like, "This is 100% wool. You should get this."
Yeah.
So, and when I looked online, that brand of sweater they sell for like $200.
Yeah. Hello.
So we'll figure out what we're going to do with that.
And I don't think that sweater was ever worn.
It had tags on it. It had tags on it. So I don't know how this thrift store operates, Second Avenue Thrift, but there were a lot of things that seemed to be brand new.
So it was brand new and it was 100% wool. Come now. Because I really am always on the lookout for natural fibers.
Yeah.
It's like I want to do a t-shirt for the summer, and I'm researching Tencel right now because I want to have something that is drapey, that's soft, and that is going to be nice and cool. And I think so far Tencel is the one.
Cotton.
Because cotton absorbs moisture and just holds it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't like wick it away from you.
Mm-hmm.
It just sticks to you, and it gets soggy after a while. It is going to be 90 degrees here on Sunday.
98.
98?
Yes, the Saturday temperature I saw was 98, and it's supposed to be like 96 or 7 on Sunday.
And it's not quite the end of May yet. So it's only getting hotter. Last summer, I don't know how many heat waves we had, but we had many, many days that were 95 and above. And so I'm really looking at getting natural fiber clothing, making natural fiber clothing that's going to be comfortable and wicking to deal with the heat. And where we are, it's not just hot, but it's insanely humid. So I think the Tencel will be a good candidate. I think Tencel and linen are going to be my friends over the summer. I'm just like, ugh. The only caveat that I've learned about Tencel so far is that they don't recommend that you put it in a dryer. It's going to pill. They also don't recommend that you soak it in water too long either. So it's not even going to be something that, how you soak your wool. Like I'll leave my wool to soak overnight. It's fine. They say just hand wash it and lay it flat to dry. And it's going to stay nice and shiny and silky and soft.
And for some reason, I can't think of what the reason was, but there was something about not using 100% Tencel yarn. You wanted to use a blend, but I forget why.
Really? I didn't come across that. So I will look and see what that is, what that story is. Because the yarn I was thinking about buying is 100% Tencel.
Yeah, look into that. It was something like I came across like years ago, so I can't really remember what it was. But
okay. But I'm excited to see this top come together. I'm
excited.
Are you going to cut it on the straight grain or the bias?
It'll be on the grain just because that's how the pattern. I was going also, the whole grain thing is cute, right? But however my pattern piece fits, that's how I cut. It just so happens with this top, it's going to be along the grain.
Mm-hmm.
I was not wedded to that. Ooh. This is just like a thing I'm trying. So,
alrighty. I'm excited to see how it goes. I did not know about that back panel.
Yeah, I didn't know until I started ripping out. And it's brilliant. Oh, yeah. So, see, here's one. I knew there was one where you could see underneath of this dressing. That's just another piece of denim. So, it's also, not see-through in those areas where it's distressed. And then, see that big circle stitched around it? That's going to keep it from fraying beyond that cute little distressed area.
That's amazing.
Remarkable. I had no idea because I bought distress things and it never happened.
I know.
I feel like this is like next level. And I'm like, ooh. But now I also know what I want to do if I'm going to do something that's distressed like that.
Right.
Now I have a blueprint for how to keep it stable. So I'm learning things. You do learn things from pulling apart other people's construction, I realize.
Absolutely.
So I feel like I don't know if I'm doing any of this stuff right, but I feel like as long as I'm not wasting money or hurting myself.
You know what? That's a good rule.
It'll be fine.
That's a good rule.
That's where I am at the moment. What's the list say we're talking about next, Lisa?
Well, the list says I did a Noro flip through this week.
Oh, yes, you did.
So I wanted to let people know that it's up and it's available. So please take a look at it.
And apparently 2 people already bought the magazine.
Yeah, you know what? It's a good magazine. I'm not mad. I am really not mad. I really, really liked a lot of what I saw. And like I told you guys, I'm already working on something from it. And so far, the pattern has been really good. I had that one little issue, but because it's a straightforward pattern, I was able to look at my work and go, well, what needs to happen here? Let me not worry about so much what's written on the pattern. So far, I enjoy it. And I'm also considering 2 other projects I would like to make from this book. So spent $10, but I'm going to do about $15 worth of patterns from it. And I like the balanced approach they have between knitting and crochet. I think all knitting crochet magazines should be knitting crochet magazines.
I like that their summer garments are actually summer garments.
I like that too.
In terms of like the weight and the material of the yarn.
You know what? That's the only, I think, caveat I have with that. Some of the yarns are not summer yarns for us, but they are summer yarns for somebody. They're not like showing you, like really crunchy wool.
But like this
in
top
August.
you're making, that was what linen and paper.
That was in linen paper. Instructions being do not wash, but okay.
So don't even say water around.
I said I switched to linen and silk, and I will have no issues about washing. But I like it, and like you said, it's got reasonable items for summer. The next magazine that I'm going to look at is Pom Pom. That's coming out soon, and I can't wait to see what they're doing.
See, I think Pom Pom could do a little bit better in the knit crochet balance.
Absolutely.
Now the crochet patterns they do have are usually really, really nice, and they're not boring. They really give you like they're patterns that you'll learn from, but it's usually like the one.
Yeah, it's a big issue when there's 2 crochet items. I'm hoping that what they will do eventually is do like a, what do they call it? Like a compilation, like a book of their top knitting patterns and do one just of their crochet patterns, because I think that would be an awesome book for a crocheter to buy, because they will all be patterns. Even the knitting patterns, they're really not for the faint of heart. They will help you grow in your art, whichever art you're doing. So do check out my Noro flip through. It's the flip through of the Noro 20. It's also the 20th anniversary issue of the magazine. And the magazine is available at yarn stores. And I got my copy at Barnes & Noble. It's also available on Amazon. There is a link to the Amazon listing in the description bar of that video. There you go.
What's the list they were talking about next?
You're wretched. You are so wretched. See, now she's gonna make fun of my list.
No, I'm just like, okay.
Now she knows I'm distractible. I'm working,
checking things off as we go. Oh my gosh, she's so organized.
I'm working on it to not be quite so distracted in my being. Oh, we gotta tell people what you're wearing today.
Oh, this is Shawlette. It is from the book Wraps Made Easy by Melissa Leapman.
One day we should interview Melissa Leapman. You've really done a lot of her work.
I don't know how many I've made, but I'm just very familiar with her work. I thought she was just a crochet designer. I was shocked to find out she did knitting as well. It's like, no, she's ours.
Stingy.
Y'all can't have her.
There's no need to be stingy.
But no, she's very ecumenical.
And she's had like over 1,200 patterns on Ravelry. She's absolutely no joke.
Very prolific as well. The pattern is originally for a worsted weight yarn, but I keep doing it in fingering weight because I like it.
And I encourage crocheters, try fingering weight yarn. It's going to be amazing.
I encourage you to try fingering weight yarn.
I don't want to do sweaters and fingering weight yarn.
I'm just saying, she's all do as I say, not as I do.
I'm just saying for crocheters, it makes a lot of sense.
Do as I say.
Oh, goodness. I'm using less yarn in each stitch.
Okay.
It's a bulk reducer.
It's a bulk reducer in knitting too.
But that's too much bulk reduced. Way too much bulk reduced.
I don't think there's such a thing as too much bulk reduced, but
way too much bulk reduced. This is what's next on the list.
It is. I saw the list.
This is what's next on the list. I don't know why she makes fun of my little attempts to be a little organized. Don't you guys like us organized? Please let Crystal know that you like us organized. I think they like
the chaos. I don't think they'd be watching. And we were all like, okay, and number 1, and Roman numeral 1, and then letter A, and then numeral 1.
I don't really have that on the list. No. It's just a list.
They're here for the mess.
Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys what is in our giveaway bag.
Did we add anything? I thought we were supposed to be adding things.
Oh, I forgot to add something.
We have some books. We're going to be adding some books.
Yeah, we're going to add some books. So every once in a while, I'm going to take out the giveaway bag and show you guys what's in there. First of all, you'll also get this commemorative Wool Walk 2020 bag because I needed something to keep the stuff in.
Because it's gorgeous, and if you miss the Wool Walk, you get to have the souvenir. That's
exactly.
Why.
There you go. So what's in the bag right now? So when we get to 300 subscribers, we will be doing a random drawing and picking a subscriber, and they will get the bag and all the contents. So I've got this gorgeous skein of Noro.
That's Korean.
Yeah, this is Korean Air. Lovely fluffy stuff. And it's 100% wool. There we go. Oh, you know what? I didn't show you guys this. This is so cute. This is a kit for a baby hat. And this little guy on top is the pom-pom that you put on top of the hat. You can knit the hat, crochet the hat, however you'd like it to be.
Is there a pattern on the ball band?
I believe there is a pattern on the inside of the ball band. It's probably a knitting pattern, but you could also download a crochet pattern from the website of these people. This is a project bag. It is a Harry Potter Christmas sweater print. You hold that for me? I wanted to include some fun bling blings. So this is a blingy counter for your stitches and rows. Mom was like, hey, would you like a nice shawl pin to put in your bag? I was like, sure. We also have a shawl cuff. This is a leather flower cuff from the Fly Trap Clothing. And if you've always wanted to have a little taste of spinning, I'm including one of our spinning kits. This has the Babe Fiber Garden spindle. This is actually, I have several spindles, but this is actually my favorite one. It is light and it spins like it's a perpetual motion machine. It's amazing. And I'm also including an ounce of fiber to get you started. So that is what is in our giveaway bag at the moment. And I will make sure and put something new in it this week. So tell a friend, have them subscribe.
I think we should include, we have You know what I'm gonna toss in the bag?
What you gonna toss in the
We
bag,
have
girl?
a book called Murder in Merino.
Yes.
It's a knit mystery. And I'm gonna go ahead and toss that in the bag.
All right. Okay, so we got a little beach read. That should be so fun. So fun. But I think that's all I've got for today. You have anything else?
No, okay.
All righty then. Thanks for spending the hour with us. It's been a hoot. And we will see you again next week. Bye-bye, everybody.